I'm finally gonna have a good fantasy basketball team. I got the third pick in this year's draft, and it's my best year I've ever had for sure. So my entire goal is just to not sell in either of the percentage categories. Number 1 and number 2 were for sure Jokic and Embiid, so I went all in on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the goofy looking OKC savior. Let me tell you, I'm so excited to draft him. I played for 4 years now, and this is my first time getting a guard in the first round. He's got field goal, free throw, assists, steals, rebounds, and blocks and points. He just doesn't have threes. This is perfect for me. And now for the next pick, you guys might hate me a little bit. I got Anthony Davis. And in my previous video, you might remember a certain guy who I said I hated and would never want to draft him again. Well, I took the plunge. I don't think you understand the pain and suffering this is about to bring me, but I had to do it. He was pick 18. This is such great value for a guy who can easily be top 10 when he plays. So I had to take the risk, but I know soon I'm going to be whining and bitching about him and cursing his family because he stopped playing and he was hurt. Now for my third pick, I'd offset this because this guy played 83 games last year. Mikal Bridges. He is so good and consistent, and I'm still just drafting best value at this point, and he was just the best value on there for a third round pick. He was so good, and the pick before him was Cat. And I was so happy I did not have to draft Cat again because then you have AD and Cat as your two big men. Both those guys are injury prone as hell, and so that would have been rough on me. Fourth, here's where it starts to get tricky. I now want to fill gaps on my team. I have good field goal, free throw, rebound, steals, blocks, and points, but I'm not anything special with my assists, and the assists are really hard to come by in later rounds. So I was begging, pleading with all gods, please let someone drop to me who's good at assists. And look who fell in my lap. Darius Garland. Perfect, genuinely perfect for me. Hurt my field goal a little bit, but guess what? I got Shea, Mikal, and AD. All those guys are good for it. But Garland had great assists. Now for fifth round, this is super risky. I went with my gut, and I just wanted a center, and I had a good feeling about him. Kristaps Porzingis. A lot of people are going to give me hate for fifth round, but it was just genuinely a gut feeling. It was horrible because I got AD and Porzingis now as my two big men that are injury prone. This is bad. This is a really bad idea, but it was a gut feeling. Now, I'm not a total retard. I knew they were injury prone and they were going to miss some stretches. So my next two picks, Nick Claxton and Walker Kessler. So how they dropped to me in round 6 and 7 is insane. Their block value is crazy. And if any of these centers earlier on my team get hurt, these two guys are perfect for it. And if no one on my team gets hurt, I'll just trade Claxton and Kessler for great value mid-season. Now, the next pick I needed was another guard, and he had to be another assist demon. So I was trying to pick between Tyus Jones and Chris Paul. I messed up pretty bad because I got Chris Paul, and I had little faith in Tyus for some reason. I just didn't like his field goal. But hopefully Chris Paul does not have his tank season, and it's the Warriors, so they should be scoring a lot. So I'm crossing my fingers. So right now I have AD, Porzingis, Claxton, Kessler. So I have assists with Shea, Mikal, Garland, and CP3. I have steals with basically every single player. And I have blocks with Shea, AD, Claxton, Porzingis, and Kessler. And I have points with a bunch of these guys, which is awesome. And all these players, for the most part, are going to average out my field goal and free throw to about 50% and 80%. So I'm feeling really, really good at this point. But I made some mistakes in these last rounds, so I didn't go for any risky players. So listen, and hopefully you didn't do any of my mistakes. I got Chris Middleton with my next pick. He's just nothing special. But if Damon Giannis or Giannis get hurt, then he might pop off, and then he's like, ooh, it's really good. Josh Hart was my next pick, and he's a great filler because he's just got good rebounds, assists, great steals actually, and still has good field goal and okay free throw. I can't believe he was in the 10th round. That was my one good pick in the latter part. Now the next pick apparently was bad. I didn't think it was bad, but I picked Trey Jones. He's just nothing real good to write home about, but the guy who I should have drafted was Zach Collins, and he went a few picks after this. Next is PJ Washington on the Hornets. Oh man, please don't fall under the Hornet curse, which is basically he's just going to drive into a wall and kill a bunch of people. Please don't let that happen. But as we've seen with, Kai Jones, the dude who beat his girlfriend, Miles Bridges, you got I mean, you just have LaMelo Ball, even though he's great, he can't stay healthy. It's crazy. There's just a ton of people on that team who are cursed. So PJ Washington, it's not a huge deal because he's a 12th rounder, but it'd be nice if I could get him for something that was really nice. And then my last and 13th pick is another injury-prone center, and that is Yusuf Nurkic. I actually don't like at all. I just think that if he even sort of goes back to what he used to be with the Trailblazers a few years ago, and he stays healthy, then he'd be a great pick for the 13th round. So that was pretty crazy. So I think I got a great set of players for this year. I got a bunch of guards I actually liked and I haven't owned before, so I think that's a fun thing as well. I haven't owned any of these guys before, so it's new and exciting, and a bunch of guys who should have like a huge expanded role. Shea and Mikhail should do fantastic. AD is going to give me a heart attack for sure, and Porzingis as well. But then I have Claxton and Kessler. I think it'll be fun just logging onto the ESPN app and just seeing bing, 5 blocks, bing, 2 blocks. That'll be a lot of fun. So I can't wait for that. And then a few of the later round ones, I hope Josh Hart does well. I hope the Knicks are decent. But basically, the thing I'm excited about is that I didn't punt any of the percentage categories, which was my entire goal for this anyways. Because in previous years, since I've always drafted big men, I've always punted free throw. So this is going to be the first year I'm competitive with that. Hopefully AD doesn't fuck me over, but he might, so you never know. I'm just crossing my fingers that the field goal and free throw stay consistent. I'll probably lose 3s each week, and then the rest of the categories are up for grabs. Whew. I can feel it. I can feel the trophy in my hands. Woo! Fantasy! Oh yeah!